is mencoder, which is the part of mPlayer that transcodes stuff. Anyway, go to their main page. Go to be honest with you, I don't know where the link is. Hold on. I usually just Google the link. Nope. Just look for documentation. That's what I should have clicked to begin with. All right, documentation. You've got the manual, which is right here, I believe. Yeah. Go to documentation and open the manual, and then skip all the way down to, well, where am I? They must have changed their manual. Alright, anyway, go down to, it looks like chapter 11, and just start off at chapter 11, encoding with mencoder. And it looks like there is absolutely no content directly on this page, so you can either hit next or you can skip to 11.1, which is preparing to encode and identifying source material and frame rate. And 11.1 is where you will begin to read about the difference between film, progressive, and interlaced video. So that, and then it shows you an example of top fields, bottom fields. Shows you why you need to. Oh, I need to cover borders too. All right, and check this out. Let me put a DVD player in here and watch. I bet $20 the DVD I grabbed won't even work. I bet I need a different DVD. Widescreen. I bet it's only 17 or 1.78 widescreen. I need a 2.35 to 1. Alright. The last thing I'm going to show you is borders. The reason why borders are bad. Any day now. Alright. Come on, come on, come on. I don't like VLC too much anymore. It used to be my media player of choice, but anymore I could care less for it. I actually switched my default to mPlayer. Alright, you can't see the borders too well on this, especially since I've got a dark theme. Let me switch themes real quick. Just pick a random one. Alright, if you see this, this is the border to mPlayer, the white. And let's skip into the movie so you can see the border of the movie. Alright, see there's a black border all the way around this movie. The black borders are bad. See, anytime you've got movement at the edge of the border like this, the transcoder has to... Let me pause this. The transcoder has to compensate for that. When a transcoder is transcoding video and a decoder is decoding video to play the video, it's actually got to keep track of all picture information, because picture information is not really ever contained in whole frames like we talked about before. It's actually contained in parts of frames, and it usually plays only the difference between the previous frame and the current frame. That's the only information that each frame contains, is the difference between frames. That way, that's one of the ways they manage to keep file sizes small. That's why I was telling you before, it's never really whole frames, but we'll ignore that for the sake of simplicity. Anyway, it keeps track of pieces of picture information. So when a piece of a picture is moving off a screen, it's got to track it even if it goes into the black. For example, this boy right here is walking off the screen. Well, the decoder, when it's playing the video, has to keeping track of that picture even when it goes off into the black. And then when it realizes that area is supposed to be black, it drops the information because it's not needed. But the problem is, it still takes CPU before it realizes it has to drop that information. It still takes CPU to keep track of it and calculate what's supposed to be displayed. So you waste CPU by keeping the black borders. That's why you always crop the black borders. It also, for that same reason, takes longer to transcode a video with black borders. Alright. Now, one thing I'm going to show you before... I guess I'll go ahead and show you in this video, even though I really did not plan to. But... I guess in the next video, I'm only going to show you information about video codec scripts and shit like that. So I'll go ahead and cover ripping the DVD. Alright, check it out. I put this in here, and as you can see, I could play it, but if I went to the video files themselves, I probably couldn't copy them. I'm not going to try to. I'm not even going to try. But for argument's sake, I probably couldn't. DVDs have several different mechanisms for anti-piracy and whatever you want to call it, ripping. They've got several different ones. One of the most difficult, well, it used to be the most difficult, and anymore it's no problem at all, was called the Macrovision companies got a technique called the Rip Guard, which is actually ARCCOOSS protection. I don't know how you pronounce it. ARCOS protection. And what it is with computers, when it's reading a file, for example, if I was to copy this file from here to here, that the computer would attempt to read every byte of information from here, put the information there, verify the byte, and make sure the byte of information matches its, make sure each sector's blocks of information matches that sector's cyclic redundancy check, its CRC value. A cyclic redundancy check is, I really don't know how to explain this in plain text, in plain English, but let's create an empty text document to explain. Okay, say, for example, we were copying one sector at a time off the hard drive or off the DVD, and the information that contained in that sector, I don't know how many bytes are in a sector. We'll just say that we'll just pick an arbitrary number. We'll just make some bullshit up. Alright, check it out. See all these ones and zeros? That's a bunch of bytes, and we're going to say that all these ones and zeros here are the bytes that make up one full sector on a disk. Alright, well, a CRC is stored with that sector of information. A CRC is when the computer goes through, reads all these ones and zeros, and does a mathematical calculation on them. I don't remember what it is. I think it multiplies them by their self or something like that. I don't remember. But it stores a very small number. Aside from that sector, it stores a very small number that whatever this value is, when you apply that mathematical function, should come out to this value right here. Alright, that's called cyclic redundancy check, and that's how computers verify data integrity. That's how when a computer's copying a file, it knows if it made an error and it needs to recopy it before it deletes the original. Anyway, when you're copying a DVD that's got ARCOS protection, or Macrovision's Rip Guard protection, what Macrovision company actually started doing was deliberately corrupting sectors on the DVD, because if you do that, the computer will not copy that file. It will stop as soon as it gets a bad CRC. As soon as that CRC doesn't match up with the data, it stops copying and says, hey, I cannot copy this file, it's fucked up. And that's how they stopped people from ripping off DVDs for a long time. Now, there was two ways around that. There was a program called DD_rescue, and you could use DD rescue with the path to the device. For in this case, it'd be dev DVD. DD rescue space /dev/DVD space. That's the device we want to copy as a disk, as a whole disk. It makes an image or it's an image, it's not an ISO. It makes an image copy of that entire disk. And what DD_rescue does is it's able to ignore